Hey everybody, happy Monday morning. I apologize for that, but we have a really exciting session today and an exciting event coming up in just a week. Before that, let me introduce awesome Åsa Larson from Infobip in Sweden. We are live. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
Very good. Thanks so much. And thanks for being here on short notice.
No
We
problem.
really wanted to, chat in advance of Casa 23 in Amsterdam, the big get together of the thought leaders, insiders, movers and shakers in the CPaaS industry coming up in Amsterdam in, just over a week. Um, Really nice to meet you. I know a little bit about Infobip, but maybe introduce yourself and your role at
Sure,
Infobip.
I'd love to. So my name is Åsa Larsson. I've been with Infobip for about 2.5 years. I'm working out of our Stockholm office, small market office, where we have staff focusing on sales, marketing, and partnership. And mainly partnership from a telco perspective. So my responsible areas is to work with the telcos in our region, as well as supporting colleagues in in Europe, in the region of Europe, for growing our sales towards telcos, as well as looking at how we can expand on what we know is a really, really great partner program that we have, which supports telcos in all over the world, actually, with our products.
Yeah, you have an amazing go to market. It's partnering with and through telcos to deliver a
Correct.
whole array of consumer and business services. How does that collaboration and innovation work with the telcos? You're almost hand in glove with those folks.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's a fun and great fit. I mean, we have to coexist for
Mm,
them to get support for their products. They need us,
mhm,
the likes of Infobip, and in order for us to terminate into telco networks, we need them. So we
mhm.
have a great already collaboration before even starting to talk about partnerships in terms of supporting them with their brand sales and strategies. But so the collaboration is on very a lot of levels, actually. It's not just what we do together, but
Mhm.
like you said, we also resell our products through their B2B sales, mainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's quite an interesting culture as well internally at Infobip. You're in Stockholm. You have
Yeah.
colleagues in Brazil and the U.S. and Croatia and the APAC. I mean, how do you manage that communication internally to innovate and collaborate across so many different countries and cultures? That must be fun and challenging, to be frank.
Yeah, I mean, thank God we have this digital era now where, you
Yeah.
can talk to anybody wherever they are. But I mean, it also gives us an edge and a benefit that
Mm,
we can talk to customers who are represented in other regions of the world because we have
mm.
experiences and we have staff there as well. We have over 70 offices around the world. So
Wow,
I
seven
think
zero. That
yes,
is
seven
amazing.
zero. Yeah, yeah. And of course, they vary in size. I mean, we're six people here in Stockholm, but
Hmm.
it doesn't really matter. We can connect with anyone wherever you want to be. So I think of course, it can be a challenge to share information. We all know it's an information overload era, but
Mm,
I think it's mainly a positive thing for us because we can really adjust and adapt, and our products are I mean, thoroughly looked at when it comes to delivering, because we have to think about who the target audience is, and it's not one specific audience. It's yeah, it's a array of nationalities and cultures and everything that needs to fit into our product and our platform. So I think it just brings us great value. I have to say.
yeah, talk about diversity. That's
Yeah.
incredible diversity of ideas and geographies, and also you're identifying emerging trends and opportunities in every market that are trend setting. The Nordics, Northern Europe, has been known as a mobile first economy for decades.
Yeah.
So the rest of the world can learn a lot from some of the applications and services capabilities that you're rolling out, and vice versa from South America onwards. That must be great for your customers to have this array of applications. It's You're doing a lot in Infobit. Maybe describe the breadth of capabilities, because it's not just messaging or traditionally CPaaS was SMS. It's a whole set of services from CX to you tell me.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we're talking about our product stack and what it is that we deliver, I mean, we want to be able to offer everything that comes together with communication. That's where we're coming from.
Hmm.
Apart from just having the SMS business, which is of course still our biggest business that we're working on, and it's what everybody knows and what the majority of people in the world are using as a communication channel. Um, we've also on top of all the channels within our CPaaS portfolio, we've also built our own SaaS portfolio. And
Hmm.
those mainly those three products are actually enablers of the channels and vice versa. So we have one product that we call Moments, which is our engagement platform. And what that means is that in order to communicate mass messaging or whatever it is, even though it's personalized, it's a platform that supports the deployment of these types of promotions or whatever it might be. Then we have a product called Conversations, which is supporting a lot of customer service tools, how they communicate, how they can simplify the way that end consumers are communicating with the brands. Um, and we also have a chatbot building platform, which is one, I mean, it really stands out there. We all know that chatbots can be frustrating, but our platform is supposed to support that with actually enabling it as much as possible. And of course, ChatGPT is helping a lot in that area as well.
Yeah, conversational AI has been
Yeah,
such a blockbuster, and I'm
yeah,
just showing. I mean, some of the
yeah, yeah,
many,
yeah.
many APIs and interfaces and platforms you support. It really is almost any channel, anywhere, anytime. Um, Including RCS. I understand you're doing a lot in RCS in Europe
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
globally. What kind, like for example, what kind of projects would you build around an RCS API?
Well, I mean, if you ever see, or the first time you see something that can be done with RCS, then you understand that this is the future. um, the only hurdle I would say is that it's limited to one set of platforms, but the product itself and the way they communicate is what we're used to today. I mean, you and I can see each other today, and you can parallel show stuff from our website, and this is actually could might as well just be an SMS RCS flow with
Hmm.
an end consumer and a brand. So it basically means that you can take your SMS to a whole new level. You can integrate with pictures. There are solutions where you can, click a button and be sent to customer care, or it could be just, saying yes, thank you, or no, thank you to a campaign, and to either, make a purchase or not. It can be upgrade your mobile subscription. It can be, you know, um, late payments, reminders, help me
Hmm.
pay today, or whatever it
Hmm.
might be. So it actually is going to bring something totally new to everyone, and especially to the end users. A much simpler way of communicating with the brands. And for the brands, it keeps, gives them a much closer and tighter communication with their end customers. So that will, of course, support them a lot in how they can evolve in a lot of different ways. But I would say that I think most evolved is South America when it comes to
Hmm.
RCS. And it has to do mainly, it's not a block. showstopper, but mainly because they have a high penetration of Android. If we're
Mm.
looking at, because the platform is owned by Google, so it means that it's Android based. But if we're looking at Europe, for example, there's a lot of markets here, and as you mentioned in the beginning, Nordics, and I would say a lot of European countries are very, I mean, come far in the digitalization of tools and usage, and how what actually us as and consumers require and ask for from brands. Um, it is a higher penetration of iPhones here, but there are things happening within this area that can actually support a similar way of communicating with I would say 98% of the subscribers in a quite short time. We're doing a lot of work in that area to kickstart and make a lot more noise around RCS. But then one of the other things that RCS really brings is authentication.
Mm.
If you ask someone here in Sweden, everybody says never click on a link in an SMS, and it's a lot of the things that's what you're supposed to do. But what RCS brings is a verified sender, an authentication saying that basically Google platform has authenticated this brand to send these types of promotional or commercial SMS, so that you as an end consumer can be safe and feel safe and guarded in that perspective, that it's not a fraud or something similar that you're receiving on your phone, but you can actually dare to click on the phone because it might say Infobip up the top and instead of a phone
Mm.
number. Yeah.
Wow, we have so much to learn here in North America about what's happening with advanced messaging services and richer communication
Yeah.
services. But this is always the way in the US. I remember when the first GSM phones came out in America, it's like, oh no, Americans, we don't like texting. We don't text. We like to talk in America.
Yeah.
We don't do text. And for years that was true. Like, Americans were way behind in texting services. We were doing it 10 years ahead. Now I think with, WhatsApp, the same thing is said about WhatsApp here in the US. Oh, Americans, we don't use WhatsApp. We don't do that, or we don't, and these things change so quickly
Yeah.
with emerging trends and kids and the newest generation coming up. It's just constant change.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, WhatsApp or Viber or whatever
Hmm.
channel that you're using based on Wi-Fi is also varies. I mean, here you would think Sweden known for being very tech. It's not big at all. Not from
Hmm.
a brand perspective.
Hmm.
It's more of a private channel, I would say. Brands don't use it as much, but it's also because here we are quite of a, it's you don't pay much for your phone subscription, and we have these bundled packages, so it doesn't really make sense to just stay on WhatsApp. SMS cost here is not high at all. But
Hmm.
on the other hand, if you're looking at other parts of the world, Africa, Asia, and especially maybe South America as well, where rates of terminating an SMS is much higher, then it's natural to go to these channels that you don't pay that type of money for.
Yes. So let's talk about your mission. You're really the fastest growing, largest CPaaS company in the world. That may be a surprise to some people here in the industry in the US.
Yeah, nobody knows
But
us.
oh, I wasn't going to
Uh,
say that. But there are some branding opportunities,
yeah,
let's
yeah,
say.
for sure.
But nonetheless, you're positioning yourself globally to capitalize on all these trends we just talked about.
Yeah.
What's been your secret to success and continued success? You have a pretty unique culture, and I think that's going to be fascinating to watch.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's very unique. I mean, it offers a great deal of you know try if it works. It's a very, I mean, it's we have a saying here in Sweden is that the ceiling is very high. You have ideas and just let them you know turn into possibilities. And that's a culture that is, of course, very working very well when you have a big chunk of developers working for you.
Mm,
So there's a lot, I think, within that area. But then we also grown. For the most part, we've grown organically. We've only made a couple of acquisitions just the last few years. So we really stood solid before we started involving other industries and other companies and integrating them into us, which also has made it quite smooth for us to integrate them. And key has been culture when it comes to integrating other parts that we have been acquiring. So I think that has been really, really instrumental in that journey. Um, but we've also looked at, where is it that we need to grow? We didn't have the presence and the operations that we wanted in the US, even though we had, tried for quite some time, and then the acquisition of Peerless came along. So that has, of course, been very instrumental for us. In the same way, even though we had a very, very good firewall solution before purchasing Anam, which was one of the greatest firewall solutions providers in the world, before acquiring them, we knew that this is somewhere there, there is space to grow, and there's definitely a huge market out there that needs this. And seeing the trend where this all is going with fraud and everything, it was a really great move, I think, from company perspective. So the portfolio also has evolved with what's going on in the market, and I think that's also been one of the keys to success. But like you said, there's a lot to do within brand awareness. Of course, I'm operating in a market where there's other brands that are more known than us.
mm.
But when you do great things, people hear about it. So I mean, we see a lot of movement in that area where we are becoming we already know that we're a big player in what we're doing and what we are capable of doing, but we also see that we're growing in the market as a known player.
Indeed, and it's all about enabling customer success. What does a typical engagement with a carrier or even a large enterprise look like? What is what does the engagement model look
Well,
like,
I
and
mean,
how
usually,
quickly do you typically engage with new clients?
yeah. No, but I mean, it varies a little bit on where we have presence. So what I am working with, I'm working very closely with a big mobile operator here in Sweden that we have partnerships with, and we have said that they know their customers best. They have a big customer base, so they should be reselling our products, and not just attract going out to the market that much ourselves. That's our
Hmm.
prolonged sales force basically, even though we're
Mm,
of course working in this market as well, but we see that we do a lot more better things together with them as a partner. But that's
mm.
might be totally different in other countries in Europe or in other countries of the world. So it depends a bit. But I would say, without knowing any numbers, but the majority, and I'm talking 90+% of the first engagement that we have is SMS or maybe perhaps email. And
Mhm.
those are the classic channels that we're safe with. We know what they are, the majority of us. But what we're seeing is that there's a shorter time to evolving the relationship now than it was before. And of course, it has to do with that there's a lot more channels out there. There's a lot more focus on personalizing your message to your customers, the way that you want to be seen as a brand, being digital forefront or uh, you know uh, somebody that really focuses on that. So, but I would say SMS is definitely in 9 out of 10, if not even 9 point something cases.
Well, it's the foundation of,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
a
for
lot of our
sure.
communication these days, and And I think what's happening now is many of the character carriers are shifting from the saturated consumer market to the B2B space. We're
Yeah.
seeing that in the US
Yeah.
now, where all the upside, all the opportunity is large enterprise down to SMEs. And that market has been really underserved by the wireless side of the business in any case.
Yeah.
And it's a tremendous opportunity. So they're very excited for new partnerships and new services, new modalities, new applications. So it's a really exciting time to be Infobip, which is one of the reasons you decided to join us in Amsterdam at Casa
Yeah.
23, the
Yes.
big
Looking forward to it.
industry get together. So I know that's your first, really the first CPaaS Acceleration Alliance Summit.
Yeah.
Will you be there personally?
Yes, I will be there.
Fantastic. Well, that's a
Mhm.
short trip over to Amsterdam. And I think it's going to be great. You're going to meet industry peers, you're going to meet potential partners and potential collaborators, developers, thought leaders. It's going to
Yeah.
be who's who kind of in the industry
Yeah. Yeah.
in one place, which in CPaaS is unusual because usually it's Mobile World Congress or much bigger shows where you can't really get together with the folks who actually are relevant to the CPaaS world directly. So
No, exactly.
excited.
No, it looks to be a really great organized event. I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And I'm actually getting on a plane tomorrow to Croatia because there's a little
Yeah,
thing
cool.
called Shift
Lift. Yeah.
happening at
Yeah.
Infobip. And you've done these Shift events for customers, for developers for many years. And I'm going to learn so much about the community you've built as well as your go to market. So,
Yeah.
just a great opportunity all around. Well, thanks so much for joining and sharing a little insight
No
into
problem.
your work at Infobip in advance of, the big Casa 23 event. And yeah, appreciate your time.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for joining and thanks for watching, everyone. Feel
Thank
free to
you.
reach out to the CPaaS Acceleration Alliance or to Infobip with any questions you may have
Yes.
here on social.
Please do.